welcome back to another episode of the BLOCK SAUC Gaming Edition, the web show that serves up the juiciest alpha in the world of Web3 gaming culture. I'm your host and ReNFT ambassador, Jinkirin. Today I have the COO and Creative Director of Psychedelic Games, Mason. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious sauce. So how are you doing today, Mason?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on your show.
I'm glad you took time out of your day to join us. So we'll just go ahead and jump into the questions. So, what made you guys decide to start a game studio?
It really comes down to my brother, who's the CEO. Devin has always wanted to make video games, and he did make a virtual reality sword fighting game called Swords of Gura. It's on Steam. It was the #1 PvP sword fighting game in VR for a while. And he had, even in 2017, 2018, he was like, I want to make like blockchain games. It's going to be the future. And he was calling it out. And he's always seen trends ahead of time,
Mm-hmm.
especially in the gaming industry, because that's where he lives. And he like wanted to do it, and it just never happened. And then around 2021, he met a guy named Harrison, who's an early Ethereum adopter and Web3 tool producer, and he wanted to make games too. So when Devin pitched the ideas to him, he was like, yes, let's do it. And he gave us some funding to begin.
So, what is your guys' mission or vision for the future?
Yeah, so our vision for the future is really comes down to like giving the power to the players. If you actually think about how Web3 and what it really stands for is giving people this ownership over their assets. And for like an
Mm-hmm.
example, it's like if you purchase like a skin in Fortnite, you give them your money and you get back the privilege to use their item. You don't own
Mm-hmm.
that item. You cannot resell it. You cannot retain any of the value you put in. So we believe that like Web3 gives gamers the ability to retain some of that money. And I think from a parent's perspective, it's like really a good idea. Because if
True.
you want a new skin, you can sell your old skin that you're no longer using to buy a new one rather than asking your mom or dad for another $10.
100%. I'm definitely a skin hoarder, and that does tend to be something I notice. Is now I have this entire library of skins. I don't even use the old ones, but I keep buying new ones. Well, what if I could just
Right,
sell the ones I'm not using to get something I really want and save myself a little bit of money? So,
right. Yeah.
um, so I introduced the studio, which is Psychedelic Games. What do you guys have in the pipes right now? What all are you working on?
Yeah, so the main game that we're working on is Golden Tides. We put our entire studio of 70 people on this game. We did start with 3 games, built 3 prototypes, and we decided that Golden Tides was the best version to launch first because it utilized Web3 game mechanics in a new way that people haven't seen before, where the treasure in this game is real. So it's a pirate game where you and your friends build a crew and you search for treasure, and the treasure could be Bitcoin, Ethereum, or our local cryptocurrency, as well as NFTs. You could technically put a bored ape in a treasure chest. There's nothing that we can't do. So it's a pirate themed MOBA game, and it's just probably something that people haven't seen before. And we're excited to use the blockchain to create a game that is totally unique.
Now, you said that's your primary game, so does that mean there's others that you guys are going to be working on as well?
Yeah, so we prototyped a couple other games. One was a basketball game where the players are NFTs and their stats advance as you like train them, and then you can basically like build up like you know a good locker room of guys and sell them out. And you can start with rookies and build them up to like veterans and sell them. So it was kind of like a cool system, but ultimately we thought that one like wasn't unique enough. And then our other game, which is the second game in development behind Golden Tides, is called Bounty Hills. And it's a third person shooter. It kind of feels a little bit like Fortnite, but it's more about hunting and fleeing. And you pay the local currency to enter a server, and that becomes your bounty. And if you get killed, your bounty goes to the person who kills you. You have to survive 30 minutes to cash out. So it's this constant like hunt and flee game mode, and we're gonna put in a lot of travel items to make it like hard to catch people, but also easy. It's like a back and forth. Depends on how good you are.
So you guys are a full-fledged studio. You're saying that you got multiple projects in the works.
Yeah.
Have you guys minted any collections or anything yet?
No. So we believe that it's really important to not come off like scammers. In Web3, there's so many projects that are asking to sell NFTs now and get the money and make the game, then like deliver it. And then we
Mm-hmm.
don't work on promises. We want to deliver the game, let you play it for free, and then decide if you want to purchase something. Just like Fortnite and every other normal game, they launch the game and they hope it'll be good enough where you want to spend money. And we
Mm-hmm.
feel the same way. um, we don't want to have any barriers to entry. This isn't like a 10K project. This is like, hey, we're selling NFTs, but there's 10,000 of each one, and there's like we're gonna keep releasing more. And there's no, if you don't have an NFT, you can still play. If you don't have a Web3 wallet, you can still play. Like this is like the bridge between Web2 and Web3.
So if you guys aren't selling NFTs, what's the funding situation look like? Do you have VCs or how's all that going for you?
Yeah, we do have investors. I did mention our my friend Harrison, who he started the whole project with us.
Mm-hmm.
He's been his company Fleek. I don't know if you guys have heard of Fleek, but it's decentralized internet. We are a subsidiary of Fleek.
Oh, so I haven't heard of a decentralized internet yet, but that's something I would definitely be interested in looking into. Obviously, centralized internet. I was going to call it Web 2 internet for a second there.
Mhm.
um, it's prone to points of failures very frequently. Like you have one hub goes out and an entire city
Yeah.
loses access. So this sounds like something that could be interesting in the future. But
Yeah,
uh,
I read the white papers on Fleek, and it kind of blows my mind. It was really hard to understand, but like once it started to make sense to me, I was like, damn, this kind of is like they're making the product from Silicon Valley.
no joke. So I do want to talk more about the game. Um, so you said that you could have like bored apes, ETH, Bitcoin, stuff like that. How does that work? Do I have to win the matches, or am I hunting for something inside of the
Hmm.
matches?
Yeah, so the game would be that you and your three teammates load into the server on your ship, and you'll be
Mm-hmm.
immediately given a quest. And the quests are designed to force you to engage in PvE and PvP interactions. So it might give your team a quest that leads to the mermaid statue, and it might give another team a different quest that also leads to the mermaid statue at the same time. And it's kind of like you'll have to go, and along the way you'll run into monsters and things, and you can earn doubloons by killing the PvE monsters, but you'll eventually run into another team and you'll fight them. And there's certain NFTs that are like your special moves that will, if you die, they'll drop onto the battlefield, and that becomes treasure for people to pick up. As well as when you get to the final piece of the quest, there will be a treasure chest that you can put on your ship, and you have to bring it to an extraction point. But it can be stolen at any point in time if someone were to sink your ship. Um, so you have to get the treasure chest to the extraction point, and at the extraction point, the chest will be opened, and whatever is inside, whether it be a currency or an NFT or whatever, that will be distributed to the team in some manner. We have a loot distribution system.
So you said something that I love. Sounds like there's going to be PvP and PvE going on within these matches. It's not just straight sweat fest. I could sit there and go grind some NPCs while my team holds people off, so to speak.
Absolutely. We think that having like a very lore rich world is important. Like we want people to feel like they've been transported to this like magical pirate land with tons of fantasy. If you look at our website, you can see some of the characters we've released, and they have their backstories. If you click on them on our website, it'll show you the backstories of each of them. And we're developing this like really cool world, and then the quest lines kind of tie into the story. And the
Mm-hmm.
world is about like these titans. We have Titan of the Deep, who's kind of like a Poseidon figure, and his minions will come and try and kill you. We've got the Titan of Nature, who's kind of like a Mother Nature, who she kind of gives life to certain aspects of the game, like the beast pirates. She kind of summoned them into the world. kind of gave us this like unlimited fantasy aspect.
Okay, this sounds like a lot of fun. So if I was interested in playing the game right now, what does that look like?
Like right now today.
Yes.
Okay, so every Friday the studio does an internal game test. We're about maybe 6 months from launching this game in the
Okay.
beta. So if you wanted to play, you'd have to come to one of our internal game tests, and we have 7 heroes who are in the game currently. And we will have 12 at launch, and you could choose one of your 7 heroes, DPS, support, or tank, and your team of 4 could have combat right now on the beach. We also have ships in the game already, so and ships have they can latch onto each other. They have cannons. They've got I don't even know what it's called. It's like a larger cannon that shoots bigger things, but mortar. It's a mortar. But it's honestly it's already is in really good shape. I think at this point in time, we just need to polish it up and keep adding content. Like we still have to develop a lot of the environment. Like we have the art, but we have to still build it, and then we're still doing animation for the NPCs and giving them moves and creating them. So we're on our way.
I mean, it sounds fun. We've got some footage to show, so I'm going to go ahead and jump over to that, and we'll go from here. There we go. So, I already see a lot of stuff going on screen. Um, so you said that there were support, tank, DPS already. I'm a support main. I want to know more about what playing a support looks like in this game, because I'm watching. I think this is some sort of mage, and she's like throwing water at people right now.
Yeah, that's the CL General Amandi Breeze. So she's the general of an elf army, and she is a healer who uses the power of water. So you'll see that she summons a waterfall. The waterfall does small heals on her team. I think light damage to the opposing team. She also has like a summons rain, and the rain follows your mouse as you move your mouse, and so you keep it above your team as you want to heal them. It's kind of an AOE heal. And yeah, she's just going to be probably one of the main healers of the game. Another one that we're going to be adding next is called the Galley Cook, or Chef Ernesto, and he's a little dwarf, and he carries a pot of soup on his back and a frying pan, and he throws the soup onto people to heal them because he's feeding his crew. So he's like a really cool support. And we have another one that's in development as well.
Okay, guys, if you're on my team, I'm sorry, but Chef Ernesto's mine. I am going to be the chef. I'm going to be throwing the soup. It's soup time. But I noticed the movement. Like I'm watching the screen, I don't see any clicking or anything like that. So I'm assuming it's WASD controls.
Yeah, it is. None of us have been a big fan of click to move. It kind of like doesn't allow you to be as sophisticated with your mouse when you have to constantly be clicking to move and doing stuff. We also have like a camera rotate. If you hold control and you move your mouse around, it'll rotate the camera so you can see like different angles because we are open world.
Okay, so you said open world. I heard ships, so this is my brain putting pieces together. This might be a little alpha. So does that mean you're gonna be able to play across multiple islands? It's not just gonna be one mass of land.
Yeah, ideally we're going to do like 4 large continents, but total 50 islands at the beta launch. And you can explore all of these islands, and you'll find like the lore, the rich characters, and overall it's just kind of like we want to build it out. We're gonna have like a lava area, swamp area, desert area, forest area, like tundra. So you'll be able to discover lots of unique things in the game.
Okay, I'm sitting here trying to comprehend because whenever I think MOBA, I don't necessarily think open world. I typically think like an arena battler, right? Like you're in one little square tile, everybody's just trying to push lanes or kill each other, whatever the objective for the game is. So
Yeah.
this sounds really impressive. Like, what kind of led you guys to this sort of format?
I mean, when you talk about pirates, you gotta have adventure, you know? So, like, we needed the adventure element. We needed the big world. If you're gonna look for treasure, you can't have a small arena where, you know, the treasure will only be in a couple locations. It needed to be big. Um, this is just a game like nothing else. We are totally, from the ground up, trying to build something that people haven't seen before and make it really fun because, you know, it's about creating something new that actually changes the game of like the industry in a way. You know, like we have to attract people to Web3 with something they haven't seen before because they'd be like, why would I play a game that's similar to a popular Web2 game? If I made the exact same game as League of Legends, why would anyone leave League of Legends? Like it doesn't, you know, the idea of like me giving up all the money I spent on my current skins in League of Legends to come play in a game, even though I get to own my skins, I'm already way too invested in the other one. It needs to be totally different.
I've been preaching that in spaces for I don't even know how long at this point. You know, if somebody took Call of Duty and slapped some NFTs on it, it's not gonna do well. I've already spent years and hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars on Call of Duty. Like I'm stuck there. Like it's there's a fallacy for it, sunken cost fallacy, right?
Yeah.
And I think that is very applicable. So taking the MOBA genre and trying to innovate it, I think that's brilliant. I'm excited to see if I can get my hands on this game. Now, when you say that people can show up for the internal testing, do you have a limited number that you're allowing through? Is there an application process, or is it just kind of show up in Discord?
Right now for internal testing, it's invite only.
Okay.
I'm inviting you to come join us, but we will be doing some early beta testing in the end of this year. And we have in our Discord, if you join the Golden Tides Discord, you can earn that beta test role by playing our Discord games. So that way people can try the game like really early and help us get feedback. But we are taking content creators like yourself and inviting them to come test the game so they can really start to see where we're headed with this. And like we want people to align themselves with us as we go.
So basically, if you're watching this video right now, you're very early, and I recommend keeping an eye on these guys. Jump in the Discord, follow them on Twitter, socials, LinkedIn, wherever they are. In fact, if you got any links to plug, now's a good time.
All of our socials are GoldenTides_GG. So it shouldn't be too hard to find us on Twitter or any other socials.
That is awesome. So, I'm watching everything. Obviously, you got the left mouse button, right mouse button, QERT. Now, what about custom keybinds? Like, am I gonna be able to shift things around, or?
Yeah, we have settings. Obviously, it's gonna be very traditional gaming. You can adjust it. I don't think T is gonna stay. It's a little far for people. We are gonna switch, I think, T to shift or T to R and R to shift, but they're all special moves. They all do like certain abilities, and T was originally the ultimate, everyone's ultimate. So it was not needed to be like as close because the cooldown is a lot larger, but I think we're gonna hone it in and get it perfect before we launch.
That's great. So, you know, obviously with the WASD controls, it kind of allows a bit more portability. I'm kind of seeing like the future, right? Controller support, mobile ports, are those things that you guys are looking at?
It'd be foolish not to consider doing mobile, honestly. We're in the gaming industry, more than 40% of all games are now mobile, you know, compared to console, PC, and miscellaneous. But of course, we'll consider it. We need to focus on making the first version of this game the best and making it, you know, something that can get additional investment or even the projection of a higher revenue that will support us developing things further. So obviously having the support of fans is always the key to adding these additional pieces.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and shift over real quick and kind of focus more on the monetization side and how that looks. Is it just going to be NFTs? Am I going to be able to just buy skins? Will there be fiat purchase options? Like, what's all that looking like? How do you guys get your cut?
Yeah. We're ironing it out, but it should be viewed as a traditional gaming studio, but we're giving the power to the players.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you would come and buy skins just like Overwatch, Fortnite, League of Legends, any of these games that you purchase skins in, same exact process for buying skins in our game. You'll go to the game store, you'll either pay with your credit card or you'll buy our in-game token and use the token to buy it. But the idea is that we take that initial price to sell you the skin, then just like trading cards, right? You buy a
Mm-hmm.
pack of basketball cards, you buy a pack of Pokemon cards. You can resell your cards. There's nothing that stops you from reselling your Charizard for $500, even though you got in a $5 pack. So we are just giving people the option to trade their collectibles. Some of them are going to be like more collectible, and some of them are things that you have to risk in the game to play. So I think the things that you end up risking are going to be very low priced items, and I think the things that are collectible will be very high priced items, just depending on the popularity of the game.
That's I like that. I mean, to be honest, a lot of Web 2 has terms of service or whatever that bars you from trading or selling accounts or anything like that.
They don't
Um,
even make it functionally possible. They don't even want you to. They want to sell the same skin a million times. I'm saying, let me sell you this skin 10,000 times. 10,000 of you can have it. But if we have a million
mm,
players and a lot of them want the same skin, some skins are going to go up in value. Like we'll make commons, we'll make rares. Like it's just another item system, but we're
yep.
allowed. Like when you go to World of Warcraft, you can go to the auction house, you can sell stuff, whatever. You get the World of Warcraft gold for your items, but at least they let you transact with the people on the server, right?
Yeah. And that
So it's kind of like the same thing, but we let you trade your like items that people want.
yeah, that always ends up being my go-to comparison is World of Warcraft. Unfortunately, it's just the closest economy I would say that works and it shows sustainability. So I think that there's
Yeah.
definitely some mimicking we
Well,
could do over here.
besides the infinite inflation of World of Warcraft,
True.
right? Because they didn't account for people selling gold online in the early days, right? Where like
Hmm.
as soon as you farm enough gold, there was no system with like they didn't actually think economically how it'll work. So now people sell millions of pieces of gold for $50. Um, They'll be a little bit different. Obviously, we're going to peg our doubloons token to Ethereum, and then you can we're going to put a swap function in the game, so you can just swap if you connect your wallet, you can swap your Ethereum to doubloons in the app, and vice versa. You can swap doubloons to Ethereum back. Um, so we will probably put a total cap supply on doubloons. It'll probably be very high, and doubloons is not meant to be valuable. It's just meant to be functional. Um, and then we will have a value accrual token, but I don't know if we're going to do that at launch. We're going to probably add that later on because, again, we don't want to sell a product before it's ready. And this is
Hmm.
something that, like, the governance token is going to give people. You earn it by playing, by putting your time in, and by doing stuff like peer review. And peer review is like if someone wins a prize, like 100 people have to review the footage of the gameplay and they earn the governance token for reviewing it and proving that this guy didn't cheat. Now we give him the prize. It's a little escrow system that we're developing because we don't want people to cheat and like take all the prizes. And
Yeah.
so we're gonna have a lot of cool like things that we're gonna add to the game where people can use participate to earn the governance token, and that governance token will be value accrual, and that's like doubloons is function, and the other one's is value.
Okay, so you're gonna have a two token system, it sounds like, but only one of them is actually gonna be functional and in game.
Correct. One's external to the game. It's kind of like we want to give the like, it's how do we use the revenue to give some of that value back to the players. It's just another
Hmm.
system to give value back to the players. I've always said it is I want them to own their time. If you can make an extra $5 to $10 playing video games, why wouldn't you? Right. So that's what the value accrual token is doing. You don't have to put any money in to get it. You just have to put your time into it. So I let you own your time by playing my game. And maybe in America, it's not such a big deal to earn $5 to $10 extra a day. But in some of these other countries, like the Philippines, where Axie Infinity was so popular, $5 to $10, that feeds a family of four for a day. So
Hmm.
I'm I'm thinking like there is like a larger vision outside of the gaming industry for us if we can get to that value like prop that Axie got to, where you can like actually help people like you know live their lives better. That's a dream of mine. It'll be a later focus for us if we can have the early success, but I definitely have these like big visions of where I'd like to see us changing the world.
Now, that governance token, is that going to be specific for the first game, or is that going to be across the whole ecosystem?
No, it'll be specific for the first game. If we did a token for the whole psychedelic games, like all of our projects, it'd probably be a DAO, psychedelic games DAO, which would like give some type of ownership to the whole studio. But at this time, it's not a focus of ours. We're very game focused, fun focused, and like we want to make sure we build the best product and deliver it before we even think about taking money for tokens.
I love that you said fun first, 100%. We need more of that in the space, and that's kind of why me personally, there's a distinction between GameFi and Web3 gaming because Web3 gaming, I don't think about finance. I just think fun games built on blockchain. GameFi, I'm like, well, that's just gamifying my finances, but it's still there's a focus
I
difference.
think GameFi sounds like a scam. Like there's just like there's no reason to do it. I think if you talk about like internal game economies is like a total that's like a better way to talk about it, right? Because like it's not like, yeah, come here and make money. It's like, hey, come here and play our game. If enough of you are playing our game, then we'll have an economy and then you can make money. I'm not gonna sit here and say, come play my game, you're gonna make money. I'm just saying come play my game. And if we're lucky and a million people start playing every day, then you'll always be able to cash out of your stuff and then you can make money and then the tokens will have value. It's like, I don't want to sit here and promise you're going to make money playing our game. I'm just going to tell you that you've never played a game like this and it's going to be super fun to go look for treasure with your friends and maybe the treasure's worth $10. I don't know. It could be nothing. Just
Oh
like,
man.
just come fight me on the beach.
Oh, it's going down at sundown. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's great. I love to hear that from projects, and it seems to become a bit more of a common sentiment. I think people are waking up and realizing that the wave of I want to earn, I have to make a living off of gaming or whatever is kind of passing, and it's more regionalized. Like you were saying, me in here in America, $5 might get me a cup of coffee at Starbucks, but I would be naive to not realize that somebody in, let's say, Africa or Brazil or one of those other locations, $5, like you were saying, could feed a family for a day.
Mm.
So there is life-changing money in other parts of the world, even if it may not affect me personally, and I think that's great. But a lot of the games aren't keeping players because eventually either the funds run dry, too many people get on it, or not enough people get on it. Like the economy gets imbalanced, and
Yeah, or the game sucks. Like
I,
like there's nothing makes you put down a game more than it just being like a crappy thing.
you're not wrong. Like there's a couple that I had fun with initially before I realized they were Web3, and then I started getting into the earning side, and I'm like, I'm just playing this to earn. I want to earn, and then my entire sentiment for the game shifted because it was no longer me having fun; it was me trying to earn money, and it felt
Mhm.
like a second job at that point. And that was kind of the only staying power some of these games have is that carrot on a stick, right? But once you realize that the carrot is like this big, and you're looking for a carrot that's this big, you're like,
Yeah, and
eh.
did you have to buy NFTs to play them?
Actually, most of them I have not, thankfully. Now you have
Mm.
to buy NFTs to earn, though. That's where
Right,
they get you.
right. So that's it. Just seems that's where it just doesn't make sense to me. Where does the like? How does it all work when you have a like they like go, oh, only 10,000 of you can earn, blah blah blah, and it's just like it seems so weird when you have a big barrier to entry to play a game. Just like how does it they even grow the IP, the revenue? How do you even how do you give back some of this value to the players if there's only 10,000 people? It's like And it just doesn't make sense. It sounds like a scam the way it's like set up and functions.
Yeah, I think a lot of projects do it because they think it adds to sustainability. If it's 100% open and anybody can earn from it, obviously you're going to have players that they're not going to pay anything. They just want to play and extract and extract. But the thing is, I feel like if you set things up right and you have a balance, so say somebody who holds an NFT earns 100% more, right? It incentivizes you to own the NFT, but what a free player could do in this case is actually earn and earn and earn. It might be a small little fraction, but over time they could save that up and then buy an NFT and boost their earnings anyway. So I think having the ability for free players to earn is viable, but it needs to be done in a sustainable manner. It sounds like you guys are kind of looking to go that route.
Oh, we have a free play server and a premium server. So if you want
Ah,
to play free, you can still go find NFTs, you can still find treasure, but the value will be lower, right? You might be able to find 100 doubloons in a treasure chest on the free server, but you might be able to find 10,000 doubloons in a treasure chest on a premium server, and you need to ship NFT to get onto a premium server.
so you guys are already doing what I just said then.
Yeah, we are. I mean, and we've thought it through very carefully, and we understand that like, you know, as people start to transact in our game, there'll be a small royalty on all the transactions. That royalty is actually not used to pay us; it's actually used to pay you guys. It goes into the game as the treasures. So, as things occur and the game starts to function more, it'll grow, right? The more players, the more doubloons will get back into the game.
Now, obviously, studios all need their own revenue sources. You got to be able to pay the bills, keep the lights on yourself. Are you guys looking at non-player driven revenue sources? Well, I mean, it's still player driven in a sense, but like
Oh,
battle
absolutely.
passes, comic books, merchandise, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I actually have a graphic novel, a pirate graphic novel as well. It's totally like unrelated, but yeah, we have the background to create these things, and we will. One of our earlier non-game revenue streams is going to be sponsors. So you could technically go to Coinbase like marketing and being like, "Hey, would you want to sponsor Treasure Chest, like Treasure Hunt this week?" And Coinbase could be like, yeah. And then all of the treasure chests are going to be Coinbase themed treasure chests. They'll be like, all right, like this week's brought to you by Coinbase. They put, 3 Bitcoin spread around the server. Um, you know, go on the Coinbase treasure hunt now to find this money. So we've talked about it, and you could even have, go to NFT projects and be like, hey, do you want to bury an Azuki in the game? And it kind of becomes like this jackpot type of thing to find this like it's rare NFT if people care. So there's so many different ways for us to utilize sponsors and things in the game to create additional revenue streams as well as like impact our current revenue by not having to put the prize money up ourselves.
And with the treasure chests, I remember you saying you have to get to the extraction point. What happens if I die while I'm carrying a chest?
Well, then the people who killed you are going to take it. This is a pirate game, man.
I figured, but I thought I would check. Um,
Yeah, no, it's that's part of the game. There's like when you get to the island, he's called the Soul Binder. He's a wizard that opens the chests that they're locked. And Yeah, so once he unlocks the treasure chest, it's yours. But once you like sailing towards his island, there'll be an area where PvP won't be allowed anymore. So you get like to a safe zone. But anything up to the safe zone is fair game for people to steal the treasure from you. But they'd have to like, if you're on your ship sailing to them, they have to get next to your ship, use the ropes to tie their ship to yours. It's all part of the game. Shoot the ropes out and link ships, and then they have to fight your team and defeat your team and sink your ship, and then take the treasure. All like before you get to the safe zone.
I'm already
So
not liking the content that's going to come from this because I already see what's going to happen. I'm going to be loaded up. I'm going to be heading to the extraction. I'm like, I got this. I got this. We got so much fat loot. Let's get out of here. And then right before I get to the extraction, it's going to be like a hunt showdown moment, right? I don't know if you've played that one, but you got to get to the point, and there's always
yeah,
somebody waiting at the exit. They're like, we're
look,
we're, we're going to
yeah,
play this the safe way. and then you get blown up, and my viewers are gonna clip the heck out of it, and I'm gonna be so salty.
Well, luckily there's multiple extraction points, so no one will know exactly where you're heading, and if they're waiting at one, you never know. Um, so you'll have plenty of safe routes to take. If you see someone waiting at an extraction point, you can always go to a different one. There should be enough where um, people won't do that. I mean, there will always be people who just want to be pirates, and
Hmm.
that's what they're going to do, and that's part of the game, and we encourage it, actually. That's why we don't let you know what's inside your treasure chest, because it could be nothing good. It could be, like you don't get too upset if you don't know what's inside. Um, but in reality, we are going to have a lot of extraction points, maybe up to like 5 or 6 on the map. So you can always just bail on one and go to another one, or you could, no one should be sitting there, because you never know how long it's going to take for someone to show up
Hmm.
anyway. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes to finish a quest line that leads to a treasure chest. So
Oh wow.
you could sit there for 20, 30 minutes waiting for someone, or you can just go find one yourself.
So you said it's open world. You already mentioned there's going to be multiple islands, multiple extraction points. Now, going into this, I thought this was just a 4v4 type of MOBA. Should I expect like multiple teams, not just two? Like we're going to see how many teams?
Um, Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it, but it would be the servers are intended to hold up to 120 players, so that's 30 teams of four. And the map is large enough where if 4 teams bumped into each other, you could have like a big free-for-all battle royale. Those special NFT moves that I mentioned, they'll be all over the battlefield, because as people die, they'll drop them, but you can always pick
Mm,
them up. So your inventory will fill up and you can attach a new one every time you respawn. So it'll kind of be this like system of, you never know what you're going to do, but you can only use those special moves every like 10 to 30 minutes or something. I think in the white paper I put 30 minutes, 2 hours, but everything's like being adjusted. We need to do a lot of testing to really
mm-hmm.
like finalize it, but um, it's just kind of like those things are like you only have to use it in the last second to change the tides of battle type of moves. But also, if you die while you're holding it, then it drops on the battlefield.
Oh
Um,
man.
yeah, but if there's 16 people fighting on a battlefield, and there'll probably be tons of them all over the place, so you'll just grab a new one, and then let's say you exit the battle, you went in with 3 artifacts, and then you came out of the battle and you got 2 now, but they're not any of the 3 you started with. You don't know what you're going to go in with, what you're going to come out with. I think it's part of the game. It kind of becomes fun. People will have their favorites, and you might lose your favorite out on the battlefield, but then you go to the auction house and you repurchase it, or and you sell the ones that you don't want. It'll be this constant system of moving items.
That I I'm just sitting here and I'm like, well, what happens if, say, 15 of the teams all end up on the same quest, fighting on the same island, right? I
Won't happen.
it won't.
That one won't happen. But 15 teams could end up on the same island, but it won't be because of questing. It'd be because they chose to do it. The quests are actually like carefully plotted out to like lead certain amount of crews to a location. Currently, I have a prototype quest right now where um, if 4 crews loaded in at the same time, they would get each of them would get their own quest, and 2 of the first quest lines will lead you to the part 2 of the quest. So that will force teams 1 and 2 to fight, and teams 3 and 4 to fight. And then the winners of that, who get to their part 2 quest next, those ones will get the quest line that takes them to part 3. And part 3 will, the winner of 1 and 2 and the winner of 3 and 4, those 2 will get the next quest line that'll lead them to fight each other. And then when the winner of that will be led to the treasure. Um, so it's kind of, think of it like a tournament bracket of questing. And
That
so we if we put 30 teams in, and the tournament bracket is designed for 30 teams, we can send them, about maybe 7 teams per continent, right? There's 4 continents,
hmm
a bunch of islands around each continent. So we can send them to, I call them quadrants right now, but we just send like 8 teams to quadrant 1, 8 teams to quadrant 2, just send them, wherever they need to go. That way we can kind of control the clutter of players in the game. Um, and that's the current system. But nothing stops you from not doing your quest. So you could just bail on your quest and go anywhere. And there'll be like little mini games that happen. Like I got the Titan of Fire's volcano, which a volcano, if four ships are sailing in open water near each other, a volcano will be summoned in the open water, and Tiki Men will fly out of the volcano. There'll be a treasure chest at the top, and it kind of becomes this King of the Hill game where you have to get to the top of the mountain to get the treasure chest. You have to fight the Tiki Men, but there's four other teams in the area, and they could kill you, and it becomes this PvE PvP battle royale on a
Hmm.
volcano, and it's this like cool little mini game. So we've got a lot of cool things in development to make the game like never feel totally repetitive.
So you got a dynamic map too, is what I'm hearing.
Working on it.
I mean, it's early. Obviously, you guys are still doing internal testing. It's not publicly available.
Yeah.
The plans and the ideas that you guys have, I think we like if this blows up, this could revolutionize MOBAs. Let's be honest. Like this is a really strong, unique. I can't even come up with words for this anymore because I went into this expecting just your standard run of the mill MOBA.
Mm-hmm.
It's been common. Nobody's really kind of adjusted the MOBA format. I mean, I've played a bajillion of them. They're all generally the same: 3 lanes, push turrets, go to kill the base.
Yep.
So this sounds like a breath of fresh air for the entire MOBA genre. Like not just Web3 gaming, not Web2, like MOBAs in general. Is that kind of the intent? Like you guys were like, we need something new with this.
I mean, our studio motto is utilize the blockchain to create new game mechanics that people haven't seen before. So as a result of that motto, we've gotten to where we are now. And what I'm hearing from you is that you want to come to the Friday playtest.
I do. Fridays are a little tough for scheduling, but I may make an exception for this because I
Yeah.
really want to get in. Uh, we can talk more offline. I don't want to disclose too much, talk too much about that. So, 100%, I want to get in. Um, that just threw me through a loop because like the dynamic map, King of the Hill stuff, I'm mind blown. I'm speechless. Like the vision that you're presenting to me right now has not been done in MOBAs, like at
Yeah.
all. Period.
We also have dragon hunting, so we have dragons that fly around the map. If you see one, just start following it, and it'll lead you to like your treasure. But then you got to
Oh
fight
my
the
god.
dragon. We're just putting in these like small things that just change the way you play. Um, and it's kind of like a Fortnite map where it's always the same map every time. But it's open world in the way that you can go anywhere, do anything.
Well, look, you said it's dynamic. I might have a volcano spawn or something that that kind of adds a little bit of a shift to the map. And who knows? Maybe you guys are already planning it, but what about maybe seasonal maps, sort of like as you said, Fortnite does?
Um, We definitely intend to expand. We've had a lot of discussions of what we would do after, but it does matter about the early success of the game.
Of course.
Future developments, we do want to be seasonal. We do have stuff like Battle Pass style, but it's more like you don't have to pay for the Battle Pass. Everyone's on the Battle Pass automatically. You level up your character, even though it doesn't actually add to your power. But
Hmm.
if you can become level 15, you can go to like a stronger NPC area and purchase like some NFTs that only level 15 people can purchase.
Hmm.
So like we have a water species called Naga, and you can purchase a Naga pet if you're level like 15, and the pet is an NFT that follows you around. Um, and that is another way where we get doubloons from the players that we can use to put back into the game as we sell like hats and pets and cosmetics.
I'm loving everything that I'm hearing so far. I'm not just blowing smoke. For those that are watching, I'm not paid or affiliated with the Golden Tide or Psychedelic Studios. Um, I I just I don't know. My perceptions of MOBAs is being altered at this point. And now I'm like, we have this studio who I'm gonna be honest, I'd never heard of before until you guys came in, did this with us, and you're already presenting me something I would probably spend a lot more time in than I already have with existing MOBAs. And again, I've 12-year League of Legends player. I've got stats on OPGG dating back to season 3, which was
Hmm.
2012, I believe. Like I gotta try this. I gotta try this. But that being said, are you guys? What's the launch plan? Obviously, it's early, and you guys said the public is still 6 months out. Are you going to be dropping like on Steam, Epic, any of the Web3 launchers? What's the game
Yeah.
plan there?
Well, we're definitely gonna go on Epic. They now have Web3 support, so it's ideal for us. And we're building on Unreal Engine, so we're obviously aligned with Epic Games already.
Hmm.
Um, our launch plan is to build a solid foundation for our community, and then we intend to launch the game free to play. And during the launch, we will be offering ships and skins as NFT purchases in game for, so you can come play. You can select any of the base level hero skins to play for free, or you can purchase the like upgraded skins. And each hero has like I think 4 skins at launch. We're doing like NFT giveaways for people, just just a lot of standard build up stuff to get the game out. It'll be 12 heroes, 50 islands, 200 quests, 10 mini games. A lot of content going in originally. We know people are going to burn through it really quickly, but hopefully because of the competitive PvP nature, it'll extend that, and we will constantly add new things. Want to add more islands in the future. I was even considering like selling NFT islands to people, so you could like sell to a community an island NFT and they can customize and build their own island and place it in the world. Like that, we thought that would be cool, but that's way in the future. Just like we have a lot of ideas developing, and getting to launch would be very exciting. And I think a lot of Twitter Spaces and more podcasts are in my future before launch. Um, but yeah, we definitely have some cool plans.
Well, if you're looking for spaces, hit me up. I can put you in touch with the guy that goes over people's games every week. Really good guy. Um,
Definitely.
Yes, I think that's about all I have for today's show. You covered a lot. We got a lot of juicy information. Really excited for this game.
Yeah.
Uh, so, do you have anything that you wanna touch on that maybe I didn't ask about, or you just want to share some thoughts before we wrap things up?
Honestly, I think we went over all of the best stuff about this game. I do recommend for everyone, if you want to see more of our art and animations, go to our website, www.goldentides.gg. You'll see we have a high-end animation product. We did a teaser. I don't know if you saw that, but that one's like just sick animation. We've got a lot of stories written. We're going to be adding like comic books and lore to the website. If you guys stay tuned, follow us on Twitter, we'll be, announcing all of these things. And yeah, I'm just, grateful to have had the opportunity to come and speak with you and show you and educate you on this game. And I'm so happy that you enjoyed it.
Yeah, like I I'm just gonna keep praising the game. I got you guys up on a pedestal right now.
Mhm.
Um, so I'm gonna go ahead and just we'll wrap things up. But I want to say thank you so much, Mason, for coming on the show today. I really appreciate it. Huge thank you for taking the time to meet with us and kind of go over, the future, where you guys are at now, all that fun stuff. But we also couldn't have done it without all of our amazing supporters and viewers. You guys have a voice, and if you have any suggestions for future questions, topics, or anything that maybe you guys even want me to ask Mason, maybe I can go, ask him and reply to you in the comments down below. So,
A few moments later.
and if you missed any episodes or want to relive the sauce-filled moments, head over to our website, subscribe to our YouTube. We're also on LinkedIn, Twitter, and check out all of the latest episodes and exclusive content that we're bringing to you guys. That's going to be it for today, sauce enthusiasts. Join us next time for another amazing episode of the Block Sauce, where we'll keep the flavor alive and the discussions fiery. Until then, stay saucy and game on.